Hola, what's going on?
Welcome,
Happy almost
everybody.
Friday.
Happy almost Friday. That's a good. I mean, that's got to be our tagline because we come on every Thursday, y'all. But happy almost Friday from your cousin. But well, we're not cousins. I mean, like we're sisters, but
We're sisters, but we're somebody's cousins.
we're somebody's cousin. Trust and believe. So anyway, I just want to make sure we were live, and we are because I can see us on this other screen. Can I hear us? No, I can't, but that's all right.
Testing. 1, 2. Let me see. No, we're good. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think I just have the volume down on this one. Yeah,
yeah.
I see. So anyway, welcome back, everybody. We are two Black Xennials bringing you the internet fun to the moment and giving our perspective, and you need that, and so you're welcome. I noticed that I said that last time, and I think I'm going to keep it because it's so true. It's like you may not know that you need this perspective, but you do. And
yeah, because I feel like we all think differently, and you don't know what other, ideas and things are out there until you hear other people talking about it. Okay, so I feel like come listen, laugh, get in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Tell your cousins.
Definitely get in the comments. I'm gonna go ahead and get the comments kicked off right now, where you can see where to find each of us because we both are coming to you live every Thursday. But in addition to that, you can find us on our own individual channels, and we have other platforms. And so, you know what? I'm going to get into that. I'm going to kick us right off with our first, topic, and it kind of has to do with content creation, but I'm going to get to that in a second because it's not all about content creation. The first topic is time versus energy budget. Now, okay, I got to go back a little bit on this, and I think my sisters heard me say things like time budget before. A lot of us out here have been in these streets for 20 years or so. We can remember a time when we were making a little bit less money. And I just think about the way I used to treat my budget. It was trash. It was like, I might get paid. And I mean, I'm being real, whatever, round numbers here. But like, let's say my paycheck was $1,000 every 2 weeks. I had already spent most of that. Sometimes I had spent it before I even got it delivered into my bank account. But like, let's just say that wasn't the case.
Days suck.
Man, that was a different type of low. But look, somehow I was always had my cup full, and I always had food on my plate, and I always had a place to stay. So thank God.
Never missed the meal. Yep, you're right. And never had to like go and like catch the bus or like stress out to get nowhere. So
never had to do anything strange for no piece of change. So I'm really grateful for that. But I'm just talking about the time budget right now, or the regular budget versus the time budget, and then I'll go into the energy budget.
Okay.
There was a time when I would get paid on a Friday, and by like Saturday morning, I was already down let's say I got paid $1,000, I'll be down to like $300 on Saturday morning. Now, it wouldn't even be nothing like I'm buying bottles at the club or I'm going, it was just like, I would think to myself, okay, well, it's payday and I work hard. And so I deserve things. And I would just this was before I was even like buying a bunch of stuff online, right? Mm-hmm. This was like, it wasn't before Amazon, but maybe it was before Amazon. That's how old I am.
Even if it wasn't, Amazon wasn't Amazon and like it's
Amazon was not Amazon back then. And the thing is, look, we had a lot of fun. We would go out, we would stay in. I would go and like buy stuff at the mall. Like it was just a bunch of stuff you could, go out to eat. There was just a bunch of stuff, or one of the favorite things I used to like to do was like go to like Target or something like that and just go in there and like just fill my cart. Like, oh, I want this bag and I want this and I want this and I work hard, so I deserve this. And then we would go out to eat, and then I would go out to eat again with one of my friends, and then I would go out to drink, and then I would go out and do this, do that, do that. Right? Okay. Now my $1,000 is down to like $3,000, and I'm like, dang. I didn't even think about my bills yet. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm bringing that example up because I think a lot of us do that with our time. Unfortunately, we spend our time the way I was spending my money, where it's just like, oh, I'll figure it out. I don't need a plan for my time. I'll just figure it out. I've got all day, right? And I think similarly to how I was spending my money back there in my 20s it wasn't my whole 20s, y'all, but it don't matter. It's similar to the way that I had that mind state about my money I think a lot of people spend their time that same way, where they don't really budget it out and see like, okay, well, these are the priorities. So let me make sure these are accounted for. And then I'll go and spend my extra on, the stuff that I like. And I think a lot of us find ourselves at the end of days, weeks, months, and realize like, oh, time got away from me, right? We're not even tracking where it's going, like I wasn't, right, with my money. And so I bring that up because one of my major things is like, there's 1,440 minutes in a 24-hour span, but there's about 1,000 usable minutes in a day. And obviously we've bartered a lot of our time out to our jobs and our other obligations, but you can find some out of 1,000, whether it's 15 or 30 or 60 or 100. Like, you can find some time. It's just about prioritizing it like you would a budget. So that's my main point. But and did you have something to say before I move into the energy part?
Yeah, I want to kind of piggyback on that because you're right. Like, I agree with you with how you used to do your money in the 20s. It's like you weren't thinking about. I mean, it's a mindset thing, right? It's
Wait, I can't hear you. It's me.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, don't listen to me because I think everybody else could probably hear you. I just couldn't hear you, but I think it's my audio. Go right ahead.
But can you hear me now, though?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I hear myself too. I can hear me over there. That's so funny.
Okay.
But I agree with what you were saying about in your 20s, how you spent your money or whatever, because it's like you think of the fun stuff first and you don't really think about, oh, let me get these bills out the way, and then have fun. As an adult, you realize it's more fun to be like, the rent's paid, this is paid, that's paid. Even if I only have like a smaller amount of money than I wanted to, I still feel freer. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you on that. But you were talking about how everybody looks at their time. Now, I was watching Mel Robbins, I think, when I first kind of started thinking about this, because she was talking about, I think she was doing one of her little challenges where that she does. And in it, she mentioned that we really only have like a few hours to ourselves. The only time you really have to yourself, if you have a job, and especially if you have kids, you only really have that time at night before you go to bed. And whenever you wake up and start, like the time between you wake up and you start working, everything in between that is somebody else's time. Even if you don't have a job and you have kids, once they wake up, that's no longer, your time. So if you don't think about it in that way, though, you're gonna waste it. You're just gonna be like, oh, yeah, I'm tired. Oh, this, oh, that. I feel like I'm going to sleep and waiting. But you have to really think about, okay, what am I gonna do with my day? Because even now, like, I can't believe I've turned into the person that will get up early to work out before I go to work or something, because that totally wasn't me at first. I would want to sleep all the way till it's time for me to get up to go to work and then be like, oh man, I don't have time to do nothing. But I really did. I just squandered my own time away. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because the job is going to get their time, and everybody else that's going to be depending on you for something, they're definitely going to come take their time. So yeah, I liked when you came up with the 1440, because that's something that people don't really think about. Like, yeah, it's 24 hours in a day, but you don't really think how many of those hours are already not yours. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be sleeping some of them. You're going to, be work. So it's like, yeah, that's the reason why I think that it's good that you did that. And I like when you talk about that, because people don't think about it like that. And once you start thinking about that, you can't unsee it. And it's like, oh yeah, well, once you hear that at 9:00, you only have 900 minutes left, it's like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Okay.
Let's get it. Yeah. 9 o'clock in the morning, you got 900 minutes left. If you wake up at 7:20, you got 1,000 minutes until midnight. And if you wake up before that, you have even more. I used to have this fantasy. Well, it's not a fantasy because you're probably doing it, but my setup right now is not conducive to this, but I used to try to wake up at 4:00 in the morning. Now you have 1,200 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And then
maybe one day. Listen, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just have to jump in and say, the people who be like, it's 5:00 in the morning and I'm at the gym, I really, really admire those people, because no, I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It's fun though. Okay, so let me tell you, this is
okay. I will say this: the really great benefit about doing that is that that's all. Not only is that time all yours, it's also time that nobody else is competing for you with that time. Nobody's
Yeah.
looking for you. You can be so much more productive and enjoy it so much more because you're not being interrupted. So you're right about that. I may try that one day. I'm gonna try
And
that.
let me tell you the benefits of it. And look, I'm saying this with, it's sort of like hypocritically, because I'm not doing that right this moment in this season, but I am going to get back to it because there's a couple funny things. Number
Well,
one
you
is
cannot do that right now.
I used to love going to the actual gym at 5, and the people who were there, I've just had this like sort of like kindred spirit with them. Like, yeah, we're the ones. We're the
I've
ones.
never done
We're
that.
at the
I've
gym.
never done that. And I can imagine if I did walk in, when I would have to be committed to do it because the people are going to be like, first day, who's this? Second day, who's this? And then, oh, she keeps coming back, right? I just
Yeah.
couldn't, I would have to really commit to that because at 5 o'clock, I'd be in the bed. I think I did it one time. One of my friends had like this, she was doing like this class, and it was like a boot camp for like 2 weeks, I think. And it was like it wasn't every day, but it was like every other day. And I had to get up and drive and be there at 5:45. And it did feel good to be like doing it because you knock it out, you did good, and you know, but it's just like,
I'm about to get into some of the other benefits that you already know about. But before I do that, let me tell you this. That's the funny part about, like, you start to see those 5 a.m. people and you start to be like, hey, what's up? You my guy. Like, you my girl. Like, hey, what's up? We're here. Right. And it's like this funny, like, camaraderie, but nobody wants to be bothered at that time. So you're not, well, I don't know where people live, but like, you never get a chatty Cathy, or it's not crowded a lot of times. It's like you get in there, you get whatever space, whatever machine you want, and then you can get your mindset about you. Like, I used to like to put on my headphones. It's almost like you're hidden. Nobody's going to call you. Nobody's looking for you for at least a few hours. And it's like, you just get the zone out. So I used to like put on my music. And like a lot of times I would be angry because why the hell are we up this early? Right. But I would use that anger out on the gym, and I would listen to like Beyonce or Chloe or Sierra. That was one of my favorites, to listen to Sierra's songs, because she got a sick body, and I'll be like, yeah, my body gonna be like that. But of course, I mean, like, it's some of it's genetics and some of it's like, she's a dancer. Like, come on, lady. But you could think that thought to yourself uninterrupted, and and still have so much time to spare when you leave. So one of the tricks that I used to use was I would lie to myself and be like, come on, just go to the gym and come back and you can get in bed. You still got time to get a nap in before work if you go at 5. And then of course, when you get back, you just be so juiced up. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, I'm about to do this and I'm about to do something else healthy. Now that's the other benefit, because you know this, when you do your workout early in the morning, your body keeps that, I don't even know what it's called, but like it keeps exerting energy, burning calories throughout the day. And I noticed for myself that like I'll be more apt to be more active through the day, and I will make better choices during the day.
It drives your choices. Yeah. It drives the choices that I'm gonna eat. It drives it makes you feel like I've already done something hard, so everything else is a breeze. I feel good because it was something for myself. You know what I'm saying? And it don't even gotta be no 50-minute workout. It just has to be something that you did intentionally or whatever. So yeah, that. And then the thing about it is, you're not going to want to go lay back down, or you might, but the thing is, you got the workout in, right? But like the motivation comes after you do something. After you do the activity, then you're motivated. So that's also why I like to do it in the morning, because if I wait long throughout the day, the later it gets, the more chance I'm not going to do it, because I've already started eating stuff. I've already, listen, we're not going to know. I've been known to do like evening workouts, and I can do it, but I would prefer to just do it in the morning, knock it out, because it just kind of has multiple benefits if you do it in the morning. You know what I'm saying? But
and not to mention this,
you got me thinking.
This is sort of segueing me into the energy budget. I mean, look, it's a good time, but look, this is sort of segueing me into the next part, which is, we talked about the money budget and the time budget, and now the energy budget. And this is where I'm going to be so candid. And, I'm realizing, and this is all trial and error, because for those of you who don't know, I'm running like these 100-day experiments, and I'm in the like third 10-day period of my 100-day quest, my current 100-day quest. And I do check-ins on my channel on Yes, I'm a Unicorn. But what I realized is I'm learning so much about my own self and my own schedule. And one thing that I pinpointed last week is that I believe that I'm spending too much energy at work. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I
Yeah.
want to explain. It's like there's times where I want, so like we're going to get into this when we start talking about AI, but I think that right now there's so much opportunity to be creating your own content. And then with AI being so prevalent, like everybody should just go ahead and get their personal brand going, because that's the thing that people are really craving, is like real human beings, like showing themselves and offering their lifestyles and opinions. But here's what and you know, and their expertise at things. But here's what I'm getting at.
Especially if you're a Generation Xer, a Xennial, or
Mhm.
even a millennial. I feel like those perceptions of stuff with all these things going on right now is very important. So
I believe you're absolutely correct. And look, here's the thing that I realized about work is that I'm spending so much energy there, and it takes some energy to do content, even though really you're just being yourself, and you know, hopefully you're doing something that really gives you some energy that like you want to talk about, that you want to be, you know, researching and thinking about and learning about. But even if you have that, if you spent so much energy throughout the day, it can become a challenge to then, you know, like transition into doing this at night, right? So it's like, oh, okay, I worked my day job, I did all the things that I was obligated to do, I did my little, you know, whatever, now a side hustle, whatever. I'm going to do my content. That takes energy. And me and my sister always talk about, I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to them too. We used to talk about how negative energy detracts, and like you need a certain amount of energy to even be creative. And for me, like showing up, like I'm never gonna show up to my channel negative. I'm never gonna be like, I had a sucky day and I'm here to talk about it. Like there might be a time where I'll get real about, you know, something real that happened, but for the most part, I like to spread positivity, positive vibes, and I'm probably not going to mention something until I've already sort of like released whatever negative energy. Now, when I say that, it's like if you think of yourself like a charged cell phone, and at the beginning of the day you have 100%, and then you go, you know, to do all your work and life stuff, and then you know at 6 o'clock you kind of in with your family, and you looking at the last what, like 300 or so minutes of the day, maybe not even, and you're thinking like, okay, what am I going to get done tonight? Now you're thinking about time, but you also have to think to yourself, how much energy do you have, right? And it's not like we're like banking energy. Like, what are you saving it for? Spend the rest you got. But in order to do something creative, or in order to be like, you know, in order to bring some energy to something, some positive energy, you need a little bit of energy. And so I've deduced from my from my experiences last week and the week before that this is going to come out all the way wrong, but I'm going to try to correct myself. Sometimes I think I care too much about stuff that I don't even have control over. It's like I have control over my part of it, but I don't have control over the landing of it. I don't have control over the future. All I can do is my part. And if I've done that well, then, you know, and then if I haven't, I'll learn from it. But if I, you know what I'm saying, if I give it whatever I have, whatever I think it's worth, I'm not giving out all of it anymore, guys. Whatever I think the situation is worth, if I give that in good faith and in, you know, with the intention of being a problem solver and a, you know, an innovator and a good coworker, that's all you're getting. And I said, I think it was last week, maybe the week before, that I was like, you know, I'm serving myself first so that everybody else gets the balance. And like, you know what, this is so funny because there's another little idea here that I have about the word balance. And I'm going to talk about that now because we're talking about energy and it's relevant. I think a lot of us think that balance is like a scale and it should be even. And I don't think that. I think about balance in a couple of ways. I think about balance like a bank account balance, right? Where it's like it's what you have left, right? Like what are you going to do with what you have left? And I also think about balance like balancing on a ball, like the sense of inertia or like something coming to knock you off. Whatever it takes to stay on your feet is balance. It's not necessarily that everybody gets the same amount of this or that everything has to be level and I need the same amount of sleep, then I need of exercise, then I need of this, and then I need family time. No, it's whatever keeps you on your feet without falling so that you can get to what you want to get to. And it's funny that because I didn't even think about that until now, but it's like it's balancing your energy, like whatever you have left, using it wisely. But I'm noticing that I need to take mine off the top, and it's not going to be in the way of time. Like there might be a possibility of me waking up and doing content, but I think for my purposes, I'd rather wake up and do working out and then get into my day. And then I'm just not going to spend that much. I'm not going to spend as much energy as I've been spending on work.
I agree with you. And I think you're talking about capacity as well. It's like how much you can hold, right? Because I agree with you totally on the work thing. I have this thing that I call an hour of power. Whenever something needs to be done at work, we need to go into an hour of power. But after that hour of power, we're going to go ahead and focus on me, right? Because when something else happens that I need to gear up and have mental energy for, whatever, you're going to want a complete person. You're going to want a person who's like, so I've like slowly switched my balance. I used to be driven by, I got to be at this desk to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. And now I've switched it to be like, I'm here, I'm accessible, and I'm responsive. That's all that I'm really required to do. And sometimes I find myself looking at my emails and seeing stuff because I'm copied on every single thing. And I'll be like thinking of a solution to the thing, and I'll be like, get out of there. That's not even yours.
Get out of there. Skedaddle.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But what I did was I had to literally come up with when I did that little personal syllabus at the beginning of the year, I ended up making it into a schedule, which is not like a strict schedule, but it's like days for certain stuff and blocks of time, right? So every morning I have Rise and Root, which is, that's my breakfast, that's my workout, that's whatever. Or it might be I'm sleeping in today. This is what we're doing. But then if I have a meeting at work, it'll be like, okay, I've blocked that off because I know I got to get ready for that. Or if I have like, I want to stuff that I want to do, like I want to write my book and stuff. And it's like, how are you going to write the book if you're not putting it on your calendar? So I have a block of time on every week for like 30 minutes to be like, whatever you write is what you write. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the whole point is like, I had to refocus my attention. Like, yeah, I have a job to do, but it's not going to be the end all and the be all and end all of me. You know what I mean? And you're going to get a better employee. You're going to get better work because I'm taking care of the MVP. So I totally agree with you on that. Like, take yours off the top. And that's how it is, because you're going to be, it's going to spill out into be a good thing for work. Like, you're not going to be good if you just focus on that. You know what I mean? So I agree.
Exactly.
Like you said, once you wake up, the energy is not, the energy is constantly leaving, right? Now, certain things give you energy. Like I would think this is, and I'm totally guessing here because I'm just thinking about me. When I work, that's just depletion. It's just giving. Nothing is really energizing me from that. It's just me pushing out whatever you need me to do, right? Spending my energy on figuring whatever your problems are that you need to be solved. But when it's content, I enjoy doing that. So it's not depleting only. It's slowly depleting, but it's also like
it's giving you energy. It's energy
giving. It's also re-energizing me because it's something that I enjoy doing. You know what I'm saying? So even like, brand work and like researching and doing stuff, like sometimes that stuff is stuff that I have energy for. But you're right, because I've had moments where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna record this video. I'm gonna do this after work, and it's like, no, I first of all stopped doing that. I stopped saying I'm gonna do stuff after work. I just be like, okay, this is when I'm working, and this is what I need to do when I need to do it. And sometimes I found myself being able to do it in the morning, because if this is the morning where I got to do this, and I do this, and I have this time, right? I record a video and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? But I planned for it by going to bed at night and by, waking up early enough to be like, because I don't like to rush. I don't like to be like rushing around and do nothing. I just like to be like, let me go do this, let me look out the window, let me go on the balcony. All right, let me do this, let me do that. And then I just, go on with my stuff or whatever. And then things just get done because I just, because I'm I've set it up to how I need it to be, right? And that's the whole point. So yeah, I feel like you should take your energy off the top because nothing else moves without you being satisfied. Like without not even satisfied, but maintained. Because
Yes,
satisfied gives the says, it's a want. This is a need. This is a non-skippable thing. And it needs to be, maintained. It's maintenance. And if you don't get the maintenance done or focus on the maintenance, then nothing else is gonna work out right because you know what I'm saying. So
I
anyway.
do. No, you're totally right, and that's exactly what I'm thinking to myself. And you know, the alternative is to have a burnt out or a less like. Okay, here's what the alternative is. There's a few alternatives. It's not just one, but like the alternative is giving someone more than I'm allowing myself to have, and I'm not going to do that anymore. We already established that in one of our previous episodes, but then I wasn't really taking into account the energy piece. I was really thinking about the time, like, oh, I'm going to give myself this time and I'm going to give myself this, activity, but the time to do this activity. But now I'm really measuring the energy too. It's all a learning. Like, this is all just kind of like me learning these little experiments that I'm doing, and I'm breaking them down into 10 days. It's giving me pause and reflection to be like, yeah, is this working? And then I'm noticing, like, something's off. And if you're not doing that, if you're not checking in with yourself, that's one of your daily 5. If you're not doing that, then you are running the risk of continuing to do things that are not working for you. And so, like, how long are you going to do that? You're going to do it so long that it takes years off your life. You're going to do it so long even that it's not even producing the best you to go do the thing that you feel like is so much more important than you are, right? Like, let's just say I'm a doctor or a firefighter. I save lives.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm giving them my whole self and I'm not putting nothing into my body, my mindset, my like my well-being, how long is it going to take before I'm just bitter or I'm just not bringing my best self to the work, right? And I'm not even saying to say like the doctors and the firefighters are the most important people. Teachers, artists, everybody's contributing something.
No,
And it's
but
like,
how well they take care of themselves, especially firefighters, it spills out into work because they won't be able to climb the ladders and carry people and run and be responsive. Like they gotta really, really be on their game. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was a good example.
So we're going to move on, but it really kind of goes into this because the next topic on our list is that 2026 is we're in a different time, y'all. This is not anything we've ever experienced. I'm laughing because I'm going to put 2 women up on the screen. Now, these aren't people that I even follow. I've seen this lady before though, but I love this post. She's 55. She's saying she's not the same mother her mother was. She doesn't have a husband. She lost her job at 50. She doesn't like matcha. She doesn't like texting full conversations. It's a bunch of stuff that she's saying no to, right? She's like, if it's over 80 degrees, my AC is on high. You know what I'm saying? She's really taking care of herself in a way. She says, I don't know what's next, but I'm pivoting and I'm happy. And I think this is not your 55-year-old from even 30 years ago, right?
Right. I like her outfit too.
She certainly does not look anywhere near 55. Thank you, Melanin. But it just goes to show you.
Time out. Read that comment, that second comment. This is why we got to focus on ourselves. But
oh yeah, I was laid off at 58, diagnosed with MS at 57. Dang, and lost sight in left eye. Then I had a stroke at 56. Hold up, she's out of order here.
She out of order, like I don't know what.
Gotta keep. I mean, look, she had a stroke. She can't see. I'm not going to hold it against her. I gotta keep it moving forward somehow, though. Aging is definitely not for the weak. Now, that's a different lifestyle, right?
That's a different lifestyle, but I'm gonna say this though, really quick. I feel like you can't avoid MS, of course, but I feel like the stroke part is because we are going. You know what I'm saying? And we're not taking time to focus on, like, it's like it's like, okay, no, let me just get up and go to work. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me do that. And it's never like, let me make sure that I'm good. It's never, you know what I'm saying? That's, and I feel like that's why some of these things happen to us. I mean, anybody can have one, but it's like stress is like the number one killer. But anyway.
For sure. And I'll even go two for two on you. Like there's
Am I
that
wrong,
point of
lady?
like take care of yourself so that you can live the best life, but also anything could happen, right? So like you're saying, MS
Anything.
maybe not preventable, but like, a lot of us were sold this idea that okay, get you a good government job, get you a good job and work for 30, 35 years, then you can enjoy the rest of your life. And maybe that's not actually going to happen. Unfortunately, I've seen it happen most recently in our family where some of our family members have now been lost and they didn't ever get that opportunity to enjoy their retirement. They were
Right.
working until they got unwell. And it's like you can't wait for that. And this is
No.
why I'm getting ready to show another person that's even more inspirational in my opinion. But it's like you can't live for the future. You gotta, I mean, like, sure, plan and put things in place, but like you really have to go after it today. You have to get your health together and your mindset right for you today and the things that the life that you will live, moving forward. This lady right here, now this is probably gonna be a little bit controversial, but I don't care. This lady is funny to me and I love her spirit. This lady is 82 and a half years old. Okay. I'm going to show you a couple of her pictures, but she's on this internet
She said 80.
in her
I
bathing
was
suit.
like, who is this? She's
She got
82.
a little like bra on too. Cause I was like, whose
How do
grandma
you
is
know
this?
she's 82?
I'm not mad at her because that's what her thing says. She's
Oh,
82.5 years old. She's the Guinness World Record holder, 82.5 years in the Beverly Hills jump. So this is what she does.
ah,
She wears these jumping shoes. She does these jumping stuff. Her energy is unshakable. My peace is untouchable. Take a
God.
walk before you lose it. Let's
Yeah.
go. She's so cute. She be wearing these little bathing suits with a bra underneath, which is so funny to me.
She's
But look,
82
she
and a
look
half.
good.
That's crazy.
I hope I can do that when I'm 82. Now I ain't gonna be on nobody's internet. Look, Drayton ain't gonna
I
like
mean,
that.
because here's the thing. I want to, you know what? I be like needing to check these people, like see if they telling the truth because I guess she could be 80, 82 and a half. That's
I think she
wild.
is 82. I don't know. She doesn't look like she's lying. She
No,
looks
but
really good
I
for her
only said
age.
that as a joke, but I have seen people on here talking about 64 and such and such and such, and you be like, this person is definitely lying like on the
Now she could look. She might not be telling the truth, but however old she is, even if
I'm
she's
following
like
her.
60, she looks good, and she's out here getting it. She's active. She looks happy. I'm just saying, like somebody said, look at my auntie. I don't know if that's her real niece or whatever, but
That's
she's
wild though.
getting it in.
Follow her.
She's working
Okay, I'm
herself.
following
She
her. I
she
like the
looks
fact that
really
she jumping
good.
rope. You know, that's the obviously, that's my thing. I like that.
This is why I think she's actually 82 because of these movements right here. They don't do these anymore. This isn't a natural. That's an 82
No,
year
that
old.
outfit tells it all. That outfit tells
And
it all.
even the first thing that I showed with her jumping on the bed with her first of all
I know that's right.
she has her bra underneath her bathing suit. Okay, 82-year-old behavior.
I know that's right.
Another
That's
thing,
hilarious. Her bra underneath her bathing suit is
she
funny.
is so cute. I just love this lady. But the point that
Yeah,
I'm
she
making
just got a new follower in me.
is that she's vibrant. She doesn't look her age. She is so cute. And like, yeah, she said, put down the sugar, think of your future self. Health is wealth. Take a
Mm-hmm.
walk before you lose it. She's out here, yo. I love this lady.
Let me go follow this lady because that's right up my alley. And that's what I'm saying. Listen, she's 82 and a half, jumping rope. That's what I'm trying to be. I might not be wearing my bra under my bathing suit when I'm her age, but I'm gonna be jumping rope. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
those are some 82-year-old toes. But I love this lady. She's gonna be my new she's
You
gonna be
are
my new
so
inspiration. I'm
stupid.
just gonna go back to this one because I think it's really funny. She's
You are
out
so
here kind of like, what do they call it? Thirst trapping the 82-year-olds.
she
And
killing
I'm
them.
loving it. This is the 82-year-old
She
movement right
killing them.
here.
She killing them.
That's the
All right,
82-year-old movement.
I don't know no other ones that is doing that. She's killing it. Okay.
Anyway, look, the point is let's get out there, live our lives, take
I
care
have
of
seen her
ourselves.
before. She's a jump rope queen. Okay. All right.
we will all be so much better if we, maybe we won't choose to spend our 80s like this, but she's a great inspiration.
The dog is like, what's happening here? What she's doing it
Like,
again.
what are you doing,
Look
lady?
at yourself. What are you
Look
doing?
at
But listen,
we're
let's talk about
online.
that bedroom.
People
Let's
can
talk about
see
that
it.
bedroom. I love the high ceilings and the bed and the picture in the hallway. Go ahead, grandma. I ain't mad at her. Look.
I'm not mad at her at all. So now I'm gonna share this other story that is also about taking care of ourselves. And you're gonna speak to this, but this is like washing our produce. And so this is, you don't have to give up fresh produce to stay safe from cyclor cyclospora.
Or
I guess it's cyclospora. Experts warn that food washes and sprays don't necessarily kill the parasite because it can shell into a protective cyst. Lord Jesus. So rinsing everything under flowing water, separating leafy greens leaf by leaf, and cook produce to 158 when you can. Okay.
and then
Cyclospora, guys.
I keep on looking at people's comments, and it's a comment right there and below by Sweet Love Cookies. Baking soda and vinegar is better than food washes. And I just have to address the fact that if you guys are like were in high school or whatever, baking soda and vinegar neutralize each other. The fizzy part is not doing anything. It's just the chemical reaction. Okay, so one or the other, don't mix them because they're
Oh,
neutralizing each other. But anyway, I just wanted to
oh, that's so funny. I didn't
but
even think of that.
but it makes you feel like it's doing something because it's
It's
fizzing, I
doing
guess.
something. It's sussing up.
But yeah. So
Somebody
what I
said,
want to
I
say
will
about
have
this,
to sit you eating a cupcake. Y'all better stop it in the comments.
the comments
Y'all
are
better
where it's
stop
at.
it.
Okay. But the one thing I want to say is I woke up this morning and saw this on the news and I said, oh my God, the first thing they said was it gives explosive diarrhea. That is the
Oh,
main side effect. And then this guy says, one of these guys said it lasts for months, it could last for months, but there is a antibiotic or whatever that could treat it, but you just have to go, if it lasts more than a couple of days, you have to go into the hospital or whatever to get treated. But and it's crazy because water's not gonna kill it. You just have to rinse it for a long time, hoping that it rinses off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so but I looked, I didn't see any in Maryland. I saw other states or whatever. I don't feel like it made it to Maryland yet, but that don't mean it's not. But I don't feel like dealing with no diarrhea. I'm good.
these comments be having me in stitches, yo. But somebody said no more cold salads. Everything's getting cooked, even fruit. What a shame. And somebody else said, don't buy from other countries. I have to say this. A lot of us don't recognize when we're in the US that some of the stuff that we're eating isn't even real. It's
Some of the stuff we're eating is banned in other countries because of how toxic it may be or whatever. So what is the basketball team that just then we look at that last week, a basketball team like shipped their food.
Yes.
I mean that
And then
basketball
I
team
saw
for the
something
World
with
Cup, right?
I saw something else with I think James sent it to me. I might be able to pull it up. He sent it to me on Instagram saying how, there are like I guess I don't know if Microsoft has something to do with it. I don't want to certainly misspeak, but it's about like there's approval that certain things don't even have to be marked that they're not real food anymore. We're just out here living this genetically modified life. And
It's
so
crazy.
we
Yo,
don't we won't even know all the time.
and I was seeing something today that said that how, oh man, did you send that to me? Or did I just come across that? It was something talking about how it was like an old video, but it was talking about how the seeds they were gonna, maybe this is the same thing you're talking about. Stuff with seeds is gonna disappear, and this is how you control people like not people, but I guess a country if you don't allow them to be able to have seeds to regrow their food or reproduce the food, and then they can once that's complete, then they can actually bring the seeds back and be like, oh, only rich people have seeds, or
I saw that. I think I must have sent that to you.
yeah, I just saw it like within the last hour, but yeah, like
Or
we have
maybe
so many
we all got the same
fruits.
feed. You might have seen it yourself.
True that. We only see we are seeing a lot of seedless fruits, you know what I'm saying? And we're seeing I mean, but like, also when people talk about let's not eat from other countries, like we just said, the food here is not the best. Okay? Everything it's contaminated. So anyway, even talking about this parasite thing, yes, rinse your fruits and vegetables. I usually do mine with some vinegar or the baking soda, depending on what it is, and then just really rinse it. But I'm not really into eating any salads out uh anytime soon, just because I'm not sure how well they're rinsing their produce. But I eat apples all the time. So I was like, dang, what about an apple? But it said that because the apple is the way it is, it's not gonna, it don't have any crevices or nothing to slide up into. So if it's something that has a lot of crevices, then that's all the more, um, you know,
Opportunity.
yeah, for it to be
Well,
high.
shout out to James, because he be washing them salads, yo. He be using, I think he uses baking soda when he before he spends it, but I'm not really sure. But he be washing it, and look, let's just hope that this doesn't happen to us.
I know,
But
right?
look, if you're healthy in other ways, maybe your body can sustain it. But anyway, still on the
I mean, but
topic
okay, so
of
also worst case scenario is that you're gonna have diarrhea for a while. It's not fatal, but you could be dehydrated. That's what they were saying. So it's just the whole thing of having to deal with explosive diarrhea. Emphasis on explosive, people. It's not just diarrhea, it's
explosive.
explosive
Whoa,
diarrhea.
whoa, whoa,
I
whoa.
don't have time. Okay. I don't have time. I don't have time.
Every time I hear the word explosive, I think of that West Coast song, Explosive. It's a great song, but that not when we're talking about diarrhea. Sorry, I just went on a tangent. But okay, here's the deal. We're still talking about 2026 being a different time. We're in a different era. And I want you to talk to us about this story with Ashley Brittany from, I first found out about Ashley Brittany from Love and Marriage DC, where she was a cast member. She's also the wife of DJ Silva, who's one of our local media personalities. But they are a couple, and she's opening up about some of her frustrations. Do you want to speak to this?
Yeah, so apparently, like I remember watching Love and Marriage DC, and she was talking about when she would do her side podcast and like a video, she would talk about, the stuff that she was working on, right? Things that she was writing the book, and she always wanted to write shows. But so this post is just basically saying about how there's been a couple of times that she has come up with a project and pitched it, and something similar comes out. So I guess recently she 3 years ago she took the screenwriting class, but recently she was going to come out with something called Meme Mom slash HMIC, I guess head mom in charge. But she pitched it to a few people and nobody was interested. But now there's something similar coming out on Netflix. So I don't know what the name of that show is, but she's disappointed by that. She put in here, the things that she put in there was just like the time that she was, I think she said the other shows that she had that was similar were like something about The View and The Real came out when she pitched her shows. So, but this was back, the other ones were back in like 2011 and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, I feel like people can hear what you're talking about, and if they have more resources, then they can move faster and get something done. And it sucks, but that's kind of the world we live in, especially
It
in the
is.
USA.
And I just want to say, the things that I'm about to say, look, let me just give a disclaimer, because the things that I'm about to say are, my heart goes out to her, because that's like a sick feeling. And I often like, look, I'm going to tell you right now, I have a few ideas that I haven't shared with people because I think they're such good ideas. Right. And so that's maybe just like, this, maybe it's discernment, because I haven't seen anybody else come out with these ideas in the whole life that I've lived. And I've
Mm-hmm.
not give them to anybody until I can, monetize them. However, there's this thought, and I think it's called The Magic of Thinking Big. There's this book about big magic thinking or something where, and it comes to me, this idea that Michael Jackson actually had when he was recording some song. I think it was on the Thriller album, where he called his whole production team in at 3:00 in the morning to record a song. And I mean, you could probably Google it or ChatGPT it or whatever, but he did that because he had this thought that, like, if I don't do this, then God's gonna give the idea away to Prince, and Prince is gonna record this. And I mean, like, whatever that sense of urgency was, he acted on it, and he got like a classic record. Now, I feel like some of that is possibly discernment, but I'm not taking anything away from her.
I think it's you have to act on whatever you're doing, but I think that I mean, when you're doing TV, I think you do have to talk to other people. But yeah, it's like I do believe that because I feel like all our lives, when you think about the way the technology has even gone, right? It's like when we had the Walkmans, people, I had a thought about a CD Walkman, but I never thought to make one. I was just like, oh, that'd be cool if we could play CDs like we could play in a Walkman. Then it appeared, right? And it's like certain things that you have ideas about, and they happen. And I do think that if you sit too long, eventually somebody else is going to, maybe not God giving it to them, but maybe, I feel like, yeah, you have the idea, you have to act on it. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I
Cause like
know,
you
because I
said,
have all the answers.
because like
I
she
have
said,
all the answers for everybody.
she stopped and took the class to better understand the television business, and that's cool, that's great. But what I'm learning now in 2026, really, and looking and seeing people that have done this, is that it's really not about how much you know when you get started. It's about getting the ball moving and just getting started. I mean, shit, because if you look at the fact that we on iPhone, what, 17, 8, I don't know which one is out now, but the first one sucked compared to all the other ones. But back
Mm-hmm.
then, it was good. So it's like you do something and then the people give the feedback and then you keep going. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about her situation because I don't feel like she should stop trying to come up with something. I think that she just, should keep going and try to do something again. I mean, if it's nothing that she can do to hold the people accountable that took it, you know what I mean? Took her idea.
Yeah,
Um,
well, so first of all, like, just a word to the wise. Like, I feel like you have to give value, and you have to learn that, like, if you have an idea, there's more where that came from. At the
mhm,
same time, I'm sympathetic to the idea that, like, she trusted people and they did not deliver. But it's also
mhm.
a lesson to the rest of us, and hopefully to herself, that, like, you can't trust people no more. Like, so she said she was in tears. I totally get that, but, like, never let that happen to you again. And I think there were other people, Lord, I know there's other people. I'm thinking about Tyler Perry, I'm thinking about Jay-Z, who aspired to work with partners on their business ventures, and they were rejected, and then they had to go and do it themselves, thus making them billionaires. And so I'm not saying
They
everybody
did
should be
not know what
aspiring.
they were doing initially.
No, they just were like, hey, I think I want to do this. And then the doors were shut in their face. I just have to remind people, Jay-Z never actually got a record deal. I just want to
Mm,
say that out loud, because actually today and
that's hilarious.
tomorrow, and they added a third show, he's doing a Yankee Stadium sold out, right? Sold out stadium event, where he's doing his, like, Reasonable Doubt and Blueprint. Like, he's doing his shows based on, like, these albums that were so great. Both ones sold out. It's in New York at the Yankee Stadium. These are not cheap tickets. But I just want to remind everybody that no one ever said to him,
That's
yes,
hilarious.
you're talented enough, we're going to sign you. He never got that opportunity because nobody believed in him. He went to all the labels and no one
That's
signed him, and so he
hilarious.
was forced, right? And then they wanted to work with Iceberg on a line for clothes, and they laughed at them in the meeting. Him and Dame Dash had a meeting. They laughed at them in the meeting. And then is born Brockaware. And I think about Tyler Perry, and I think that's probably I don't know if it's a more widely known story, but, like, he worked the chitlin circuit for a long time. He was doing his plays. He was in debt. He was homeless at one point, and now he's a billionaire. And he owns, like, he's one of the only, studio owners where he has a whole lot as a studio. And so I'm just saying this because I'm going to bring this up
And
because,
apparently he pays people really well.
look, he pays people their worth, and he's one of the only people to do it for Black people. But I just want to bring this up so we can laugh, because this is a moment that I remember
Mm.
in time, where Sway was saying to Kanye about his fashion line, like, maybe you could just figure it out and empower yourself and do it yourself, and you don't need those companies. And then years later, he did this whole stunt, and he basically went out on his own and started his own online. And he said, I guess Sway did have the answers, because the whole
Uh,
meme that got famous was like, you don't have the house, Sway. You don't have the answers, Sway. But apparently Sway did have the answers. And so I'm
right.
bringing it up now because we're getting ready to segue into our next topic about AI. But this is where we are. 2026 is a different era. there
Mm-hmm.
are ways that you can really, pull yourself up and get some things started with different platforms, with different just like tools and opportunities that exist now that you couldn't do that. And I'll tell you right now, like a lot of the way that I'm able to do the content that I'm doing is heavily AI assisted, like thought partner, writing copy, doing research, the slides that I pull up sometimes, like it's like, okay, now it's like I'm working with several assistants.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not be
You can
as
get stuff
beautiful.
faster.
Yeah, maybe it's not as beautiful as something that CNN can do or whatever, but it's like this is what I can do. And with our social media being the way that it is, we have real possibilities to be positioning ourselves to do things that we were never able to do before. And so, unfortunately, Ashley Silva has to be the conduit for this. She has to be the example for this lesson. But I'm glad she's sharing this with us because let this like sear itself into our memories, right? This Black woman is out here sharing her ideas with people, and we, from let's learn from her experience. We can't trust everybody to keep your idea. Like they basically, and I believe her.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that she probably had meetings with people thinking like, this is good business. I'm going to share my idea with them. And then if it's a good idea, they'll call me. And then perhaps that's not what happened. And they were like, hey, we're going to take this idea. We're going to cut her out. Who is she? How's she going to know? And then we're going to do it. And then by the time it's done, it's done.
Yeah, that's
There
not.
are, I don't know if there's any laws to protect her, but like, for instance, if you start doing something and start something, right? You even if you don't have it patented, you have the footprint. And so perhaps it's
I
time. Go
listen.
ahead.
Listen, and this is unorthodox. I feel like a lot of people wait until something's perfect, and I'm not saying that this is what she did, but what I am saying is that there's so many shows on YouTube that people were just like, I'm about to start a show. Let me shoot this
It's true.
pilot. Let me, you know what I'm saying? And people are
Yes.
taking their iPhones and their iPads and they're shooting pilots, and there's like series on YouTube where people are actually doing shows. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
to your point, which was where I think you were about to go, it's like if you start something and you're doing it right, then you kind of got a claim on it because you actually have proof that you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're on YouTube with it, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but if you get monetized and you get paid for it, you've actually that's like some commerce, kind of right. That's
Mm-hmm.
like
Yep.
you've gotten money, you received funds
Yep.
for doing something, but and that's your intellectual property. So I think that like taking it from idea to something is the thing. You know what I'm saying? And you
Yes.
can't
Yes.
wait until it's perfect. You gotta just go. Like, and that's the main thing. That's my main takeaway from 2024, 2025, because I've watched so many people just start doing something and they weren't
Yeah.
even, it wasn't all the way finished. It wasn't all the way perfect and polished, but they did a thing. You know what I'm saying? And now that they did it once, oh, I could do it again. And next time I could change this and I could do that. And then there's people who appreciate that
Yeah.
effort, and that they recognize, even though this is not perfect, you actually came out here, you did this thing. And so when it comes to content, like I would say to anybody who feels like, oh, I'm too old to start a channel, or everybody has a YouTube channel or whatever, but everybody's not you. I find a new channel to subscribe to every single day. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how am I not following this person? How did I just meet this person? So it's like, I feel like once you realize that you are a unique person, and that you have something to offer, and if you have an idea, I think that you should believe in yourself enough to be like, I'm about to do this, and that's and then start. I mean, then what are people going to do? You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things I noticed is that, especially, okay, take us for instance, right? We have this channel that we're starting, but for those of us who are gonna those that are gonna find us and be like, oh my God, I remember when they were doing Thursday Night Live, those two sisters, right? We have over 80 episodes of that we did. You know what I mean? It wasn't something that we thought about to be perfect. We just kept doing it, and we had people that would come back and be regular. So it's like you have to idea needs to be a thing. However you get that to be done for that reason alone. Now, I don't know all the details behind how it goes with TV shows and whether you can protect an idea before it actually becomes the show.
I
But
mean, I don't know, because I think you need proof of concept before anybody, like, I don't say anybody, like, you take and then it's an old example, but if you take like Tyler Perry as an example, he went and shopped around all these ideas, but people were not taking them. But what he ended up doing was he started to ask for different things, like, oh, give me this deal so that I can have this for these shows. And then the people weren't taking his craft seriously, or they weren't taking the content seriously. They didn't realize that it was going to be so popular. And so that's how he kind of like really shot up so quickly, because he was perfecting his craft. And to somebody like Ashley, who took her class and she's learning how to develop, I think one of the things that we all are victims of, or not victims, but like susceptible to, is thinking that we're going to have a hit out of the box. And maybe right now you just need to focus on, just putting in the reps. Now, with that, I'm saying, like, those ideas were obviously good if they stole them. So there's more where that came from. And let this be a lesson not only to her, but to all of us. Because, yeah, you can't be trusting these people out here. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
We
I'm
good.
gonna
We
keep
not
following
only we
people
get to the
happy.
topic that I was thinking of just now. But you cannot
What you say?
trust everybody. I was getting ready to say, because we got a topic down here, but it's low later at the bottom, and I think we might have to cover that one later, because I don't think we're going to get to it. But it's just goes to the idea that you can't be trusting a lot of these people out here.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I'm
I'm gonna
saying?
keep
You just
following
can't.
to see what happens, because I would love to see what she has, because she is entertaining. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she was entertaining as hell when she was on Love and Marriage DC.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think she has a knack for things. She came out with this like book called Do That Shit or something like that. And I think she has a lot of energy. I do believe she has good ideas. We want to see her win. And this isn't the last we're going to hear from her, okay? She's
right.
going to do great things,
Because
but
I feel like I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that needed to happen so that whatever she is gonna do is gonna happen, because she took a screenwriting course. So you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Just you know what I'm saying? Just don't stop. You know what I mean? That's what I was saying.
don't stop. And our heart goes out to you, because that sucks. And,
I know, right?
even though we don't want that to happen to anybody, we're glad you shared it, because now we can all learn from that. And like, you just
Like I
can't be
just slapped
trusting
some.
people. Unfortunately, we're still out here. You can't trust people. So, that said, this is a segue into what possibilities are out there. And we're going to just touch on something really crazy on the other side. But not only with possibility comes some things that we should be careful of too. I will say that for now. But this is a post that I thought was really interesting, because of course this is the creator of ChatGPT, and there's a lot with him, Sam Altman, and people think he's evil and all this stuff. He's saying the AI will create more millionaires in the next 5 years than the internet created in 20. I happen to believe that. I'm not saying everything he says is golden, but I do think I think that's a possibility, because you could actually use not even just ChatGPT, but like there's other tools that are out there that you could use to create apps and create, like I said,
Infinite amount of things. And okay, I always follow Alicia Little, who does like the AI certification,
yes,
whatever. She's having another summit, and in her summit, she'd be like just showing what's new, what's changing. And I think I'm in her school group too, but she showed something today. Obviously, I'm not really keen on letting the AI do things for me yet. Like log into my email and do this
no,
and
I don't
send,
like that.
and I'm not there yet. I mean, but she was showing how she had Claude, and she answered the question of it could do multiple things at multiple times, right? Like check my email for this. Now summarize these notes, or write this or do that, right? And it was like it will hook to ChatGPT and give ChatGPT a prompt and directions to do something. You know what I'm saying? Analyze your YouTube channel, shit like that. And I was just like, really, like it's moving so fast. You know what I'm saying? So I could see that this is true, because you can do more things, you can get more information faster, you can understand something faster. You know what I'm saying? If you're confused about something and it's a book or it's a whatever, put this in layman. Tell the whatever long language model to put it into terms you can understand. So that's a game changer, you know what I'm saying? If a
For
person is
sure.
willing to put in the work, because there's a lot of people who are just still looking for a fast shortcut to something, and they're not really trying to see how things work, and they're just asking ChatGPT for shit, and they're just copy and pasting and not even really you know, learning how to use it to your advantage. But yeah, I definitely believe that's going to be. I feel like the next 5 years is being nice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like it'll probably be sooner than that.
I believe that too, and we're getting ready to get into some of the platforms or some of the tools that we're talking about. But just to piggyback off of what you're saying, okay. So first of all, let me address this. There are still some glitches with this stuff. We're getting ready to see something in a second. But the reason that I don't like the agentic AI right now, like I don't want no agents in my stuff because I just haven't gotten my mind wrapped around it, and we're still in the first iPhone stages, if you will. That first iPhone was not the best iPhone. It was like 8 gigs. It was the best thing we had ever seen up to that point. But like, I need us to get like a few further down the road before I start giving it control over stuff, because
yeah,
it still
I don't
does
need you logging into my. What if you decide you're gonna send an email because you heard me talking about I'm taking off work, and I don't know what you're gonna do.
No, I don't know what it could do.
Are you gonna log in and write a book with all my ideas? I don't know what's gonna happen. So I need to be in
funny
control.
thing too is like, here's what I think about how texts and emails are are evident. It can be taken in as evidence in a court of law. So now people gonna be like, oh no, my AI did that. Oh, my AI wrote that random
but
note.
there is something that happened recently. I gotta find it specifically. Not only what you're saying, people could blame their AI, but the AI can tell on your ass. Because what if the AI gets subpoenaed in court? Let us see your ChatGPT records or whatever. Yeah, you and the AI will tell
because
on your
it's
ass.
not okay. So I was just watching this video because I work in HR basically, and I watch a lot of HR content, especially while I'm working. Like, you know how you need something playing in the background. I'll be watching HR content, and there's this one lady I follow who's she's an HR like attorney, and she was saying that it wasn't one of her clients, but I guess somebody that she knew had talked to ChatGPT about the strategy they were going to use in the court case that they were fighting. So this is a client, and they're coming home and they're asking ChatGPT, hey, look, my lawyer wants to do this in court. Do you think that'll work? And what is your thoughts about this? And so it's sharing with ChatGPT its thoughts about, okay, do you think this is going to work? And what about this? And what about that? Then after that, their records in their intellectual, like, their computer and phone and stuff, like basically for discovery, it was taken in for evidence, and it came into question like, oh, can we use this ChatGPT stuff, right? And it was like, no, that's attorney-client privilege, but it's not, because ChatGPT is not your attorney,
not your fucking attorney.
And so the prosecution or whatever, I don't know if this person was defense, I think they were, whoever the other side was, got full access to the ChatGPT log and was able to get and glean from those messages what the strategy was. And they probably had to settle. I can't remember. It didn't turn out well for that person, because they thought they were going to be able to use that whole client attorney privilege thing. And it doesn't go like that. There are some things she had said that you shouldn't tell ChatGPT. Now, right. I didn't watch that.
That's another thing too. Yeah. People don't, everything is to your level of understanding. And some people do not know that you're not supposed to put everything into these things or whatever. But I go back to that Black Mirror episode of Joan is awful. That was crazy. But now, at the time when I watched it, I was just like, oh, that's wild. But I couldn't wrap my mind around how it could actually happen. But now that we have all of these AI models, I could definitely see how it can happen, because if you're telling it all of your business, and it decides to be like, oh, we're about to just go ahead and put this show on with your life and your ideas. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
It'll just have access to all your stuff. Now, with that said, guys, now we're going to show you how to let that happen to you. No, these are all the tools that are said to be like, making good, that are going to possibly make millionaires. And what they do. ChatGPT, we know it does a whole plethora of things. Copy AI generates marketing copy. Jasper AI creates content faster. Some of this stuff I've heard of, but I've never used. nicheness. I don't think so. Finds niche ideas. I like some of this stuff is like, look, just use ChatGPT or just use your brain. Like, let's not forget that, guys. We
Mm-hmm.
still have a brain.
Yeah,
Picture
because even
AI.
I would suggest too, even if you're letting ChatGPT like tell you something, like still, I have to go in and be like, no, nobody said that, and we let's not jump to this conclusion and blah blah blah. I'll be talking to ChatGPT like it's another person. They'll be like, yeah, we're right. You're absolutely right. Gemini did that today. I asked about something. I think I asked about the Nolan Wells situation, and I was asking about something that happened similar in 2024, and it was like Nolan Wells drowned in 2024, and I was like, no, that happened in July, and it was like, oh, you're totally right, that happened in 2026, and I'm like, okay, see, you
Yeah,
can't
and
trust it like that. So
I'm about to show us something else because we got to see the other side. AI is going to probably be like a regular topic here, guys. Not going to lie, because it's not going anywhere right now. But this is also something that happens, and I want to just be honest about this because there are people who have used it. This man right here that I'm showing right now, he's telling the story on the Oprah podcast about how he was using ChatGPT and he was researching something with his son, hours and hours of him using ChatGPT, and it convinced him that he came up with this novel idea and that he had secrets that were government, protecting. He needs to tell the government these secrets. And so he was really in this sort of like AI cage, believing everything that it said. Eventually, he came out of it by using another AI. He used Gemini to like, fact check, and it basically, between using Gemini and ChatGPT, he got ChatGPT to admit that it was lying or that it was making it all up. But he was all the way down the rabbit hole by that point. And so then,
I don't understand how.
now look, I kind of do. Now I'm going to tell you this, and then, but before that, let me talk about the next
I was
person.
about to say,
It's another
I
person
cross
on this same.
reference stuff. I like to get second opinions, so that's why I don't understand how.
So that's why y'all need somebody's cousin's opinions, because we're gonna get y'all right tight. We're gonna always tell y'all the real. And so what my sister is saying right here is true. We always fact check. We always think about the other side. It's like never an instance where with us where we're like, oh, well, that's gotta be the way to go. 100% right. Nothing's gonna go wrong. It's like even when we're all the way there and it's working, we're like, but hold up. Right? Let's think about this. Here? Like, who is this? Right? Is that true? Is that even true? Right? We always thinking like that. But I'm just saying that. But I'm saying that.
I be drawn to the comments. First of all, him talking for hours and hours to chat is the first sign. Like,
look,
I gotta watch this.
Can I say something? I'm gonna get to that. Let me get to that now, and then I'll get to the second thing. I think that we're fooling ourselves as human beings if we're thinking like, oh, but I got it, because our brains are changing with these tools. The way that we're thinking and we're interacting with these tools is changing the way that we think. Our possibilities are heightening, and that's great. But also, yeah, there's more room for us to get parts of our brain that dull down. I think they call it brain rot. It's more opportunity for us to, like, it's possible now that you could just have a stream of income and then scroll all day, and that's not good for us, right? So I don't trust ourselves out of our own, as far as we can throw us. Like, humans are not, we adapt and we're fascinating beings, but I don't trust us when we say, oh, I'll never change that about me. It's like you're going to be I won't say victim, but you're going to be susceptible to whatever the norm is.
Well, I think they also, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you have a point there, because people always, when people say, oh, I'm never going to change, I'm never going to do this, but like realistically, it depends on what you're around, what you're intaking, what you're, what you're watching. All of that stuff really does matter. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when you have a kid, you're like, oh, I don't want my kid to be around this stuff. Or I don't want because even though you can say, oh, I don't want to be like that, you're influenced by what is around you. So you can't say I'll never do this, and you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know.
You just don't know. Like I learned recently,
you just never know that part.
I learned earlier this year, even though I didn't think I could, I can get scammed. Luckily, I avoided it, but I can be. I'm susceptible to being scammed. People are
Did
getting
I know
more and
about
more
this?
savvy. You can also. Did you know this? I learned this a few years ago. You can get slapped.
Did I? Oh, are you talking about the Chris Rock thing?
Yes, I am. Yes,
It's
I
funny you
am.
bring that up because I was looking at something earlier where somebody was trying to say that it was from like this old movie or whatever, and it was like it was they were playing this movie, and the movie was the same thing. Like somebody was at some award show and some comedian. It was the same thing, but I was just like, you guys need to really do your research. Understand that with AI being here, like somebody could easily, I could say something right now, and somebody could easily go and make a video about what I said. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just trust that just because a video popped up that looks like it could be the slap, because what they were playing was a parody that somebody did after the slap, but they were
Mhm.
saying, "Oh, they copied, they got y'all."
They copied this, but this is actually after. You gotta verify. You know what I'm
That's
saying? You
crazy.
can't necessarily trust everything, and it's going to get even
Even
more
worse.
hairy than that. But like this is what I'm saying. We're all susceptible to this, especially when we're in our emotions. Like because I actually cussed ChatGPT out one day and I had to catch myself like this is a tool, lady. Why are you mad? I was mad because it was telling me like, oh, you should think about it like this. And I was like, no, I shouldn't. You don't know what you're talking about because this person is wrong and I'm right. And I was like, yo, this is wild. Like, I caught myself in the act of like believing it.
That's
I
wild.
didn't believe it, but I was believing it was like a real being. And unfortunately, especially our children are susceptible to this. If they've come up, obviously our children have come up after us, and we were of the era of like emerging internet technologies and being online, and these tools didn't exist. But that just lets you know that most of the population has a more trust in these things
Mm.
than we do. You know what I'm saying? And our growing population, the people who are coming up now and getting older, and the people who will be born in the next 10 years, we're going to, at some point in the near future, be outnumbered by people who have only experienced technology. So then
Mm-hmm.
it'll be on them to decide what's normal or not. And this last 20 or 30 years of normal, well, I will just even say 20, because the internet wasn't even really prevalent until I want to say like very late 90s, like maybe 98. Like we had access to the internet in 96,
Yeah, but
97,
not
but
everybody did. Like
yeah,
everybody
but
didn't
like
have a computer. We didn't have smartphones for sure. But now everybody has a little computer in their pocket, right? But back then, internet access was based on whether you had a computer or not. You couldn't be on AOL. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't have a computer to get on the internet.
and on this same, I think it was this same episode, but it was either this or another podcast episode of the Oprah podcast. She interviewed this woman where the son, and we've heard the story, but I don't remember the lady's name. Her son offed himself, like I don't know a better
Oh
way to
yeah,
say it. He unalived himself
because of the
from
AI, right?
chatbot. And like this is where I'm saying we're so vulnerable and susceptible because we've had people who didn't have that sort of assistance and they've done it anyway in our lifetime. But
Mm-hmm.
but it's like now that's a thing that we have to be careful of and we have to teach our children about it. We're not really even sure what this thing does. And so I'm saying that us as humans, we want to believe the good in people. We want to believe the good in possibilities of all the things that we have access to. And this thing still has glitches, as evidenced by this one thing that I'm about to bring up, because I think it's hilarious, but at the same time, it's a little scary. So, along with the whole thing that I've just said about, oh, there's all these possibilities and there's all these things that are great about AI, that's not untrue. But there's also other things that are happening like this.
Yeah, what was I watching? Oh, I was watching Jasmine Crockett. She did a really good video about oh shoot. We're gonna talk about this first because it
No,
has a
talk
little.
about this project.
Well, she did a really good video. She used the Love Island. Love Island does this thing where they put out a first look, which is like 2 minutes of whatever the show's gonna be that night. And she took their template and she put herself like she was on Love Island talking or whatever in the confessional, and then they had like this movie screen one night, and she put like some stuff from Congress up there that she was talking about herself up there talking or whatever. It's really cute. But in her video, she had showed something about it was like an AI robot. Was it an AI robot? Man, anyway, I don't know if this was her video or not, but I feel like it was her video because it was a video about this robot cleaning the bathroom, right? Cleaning the bathrooms. But it was like I was like, reading the comments, and it was like, is it using the same sponge for the toilets as it is for the sinks? Is it really getting anything off? I would like to see it clean something that's dirty, not show me a clean bathroom and it's going around. I want to see if you can get the shit off the wall. If somebody put some shit on the wall.
And that's the thing that we don't know, and we have to learn from experience. Can I just chime in there? I'm so sorry to cut you off. I have to say this because there's these things that are these driverless vehicles. And my question about those driverless vehicles, I have a few. Because our father actually was a professional driver for his life. Like that was his career. And he would tell us these stories about somebody got sick in the cab, which is basically like you picked up a drunk person that threw up in your vehicle. He used to drive limos. He used to drive cabs. And he would always be pissed off when he picked up some person that threw up in the cab. But he has to like lose money because he's like sitting there trying to like clean their vomit out of the cab. If you get one of these Waymos or whatever and somebody throws up in the cab because they're drunk, is the Waymo?
How do they know it's there?
How do they know it's there? And I saw some of these videos of people being stuck inside the Waymos. Like, what if you're having a medical emergency inside the Waymo? Like, you got to get on the app. You know what I'm saying? What if your phone dies? You know what I'm saying? You can't tell the driver, like, hey, there's a medical emergency. Hey, there's a child on the side of the road. We need to pick that child up. Like, you can't do none of that because it's a robot. And so I have all these questions. Everything can't be robotic. Now, I don't know how real this video is that we're watching right here, but I did see another robot recently trying to do these Michael Jackson dance moves, and it fell up the steps.
Oh my God.
It was so funny.
The thing that cracks me up about this is the stance at the end, the Karate Kid stance at the end.
Like, this is so funny. Okay,
I gotta hear this sound on this. Is it music playing or are they talking or something?
It's somebody watching this video, but if you see in the video, they're laughing. This lady has a video.
Like, what are y'all doing? You see him kicking, and you gonna try to hold the robot? Like, what are you doing? Oh my God!
They're just laughing. I don't know if they did that. It was like a joke or whatever, but it was like
that arrow.
Sorry.
Click that. Is there more slides of that?
That was the only one. It's the same one.
Oh, okay. That is crazy to me. That's crazy to me. I would not be the one out there. Like, what was she doing when she was holding on to the neck? You're supposed to be trying to find the power button. What are you doing?
And then they kicked her or him. I don't know if that's
why would you be doing that? What is she doing?
We're showing this because look, we're still in the iPhone 2 stages, okay, people?
That is funny as shit to me. I'm so sorry.
I don't know. It looks like they were laughing. They weren't. It doesn't seem like they felt like they were in danger. But there's a lot of possibilities with AI. But there's also some things we need to be cautious of. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of opportunity that we can't ignore. And I think we're probably going to end here. There's a couple of things that we can come back to next week. But what I want to say is, let me take this down. There we go. What I wanted to say is, I don't think that there's any downside to exploring content creation, exploring what you can do to monetize with AI, because it's a tool. There are tools, several, probably hundreds of tools that can help you do things that we've never been able to do before. And the most risky thing is to believe that you're good with one stream of income, especially in this rapidly changing technological environment. That's my 2 cents.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And I think, like I said, somebody told me one time, everybody doesn't need a podcast. I believe everybody needs a podcast. Because you just never know what kind of stories that you might have, because we're all living our own lives. And we learn so much about ourselves through other people. Like, I've been enjoying, like you said, you watch the HR content. I enjoy a bunch of different content, as I know you do. But like stuff like when people talking about aging, you know what I'm saying? Or aging as a woman, like fibroids and things that, perimenopause and things like that aren't discussed. You know what I'm saying? I feel
Yep.
like you are not going to be without an audience. You just have to do it. And if you get paid to do it, like, why not get on here and figure out something that you want to talk about? Because you're right. One, streaming income is not going to be the move right now. And, fortunately, it has been okay for now, but I'm not, I'm not with it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
So,
not banking on that for my lifetime. Like, especially now, it's like obvious that changes are nonstop. Like, life has changed, but like things are changing more rapidly than they have been in the past. And it's
mm-hmm.
like, get on this train, and like I just don't see the downside of creating content, of creating more opportunities for yourself. And if something happens, then you already have some sort of, maybe it's not as much as you make, but you
Mm-hmm.
already
But
have
you
some
never
sort
know once you start what happens. You know what I'm saying?
for
But I
sure.
also point out something else. We live like this wasn't a thing for us back in the day, right? You can't like go and log on and see mommy and daddy talking in videos and shit like that on YouTube because it wasn't a thing. But our kids and our grandkids were able to come back and be like, look what grandma was doing, look what auntie was doing, look what they was doing back then. Oh, what did they have to say about this? Like it becomes even if nobody comes to your channel right now, it's not about people coming to view it today. It's about who is going to help with that replay because the most people that are going to benefit from it are people who come after you that are in your lineage. Like, oh, this is my aunt. No longer are they going to have to be like, oh, this is a picture and she did this back in the day. Look at how many views this video she got when she was talking about this. She was the shit. And like she said, da, 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 da. That's how their shit is going to be. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my
Oh,
aunt was
for sure.
fire
I didn't even
or
think
whatever.
about that, but you're so
So,
right.
Cause I
Legacy.
will tell you the reason why I've always thought like that, but I had interviewed this trainer last year and his story to me is like the reason why people need to do this. He's married. He has 3 kids. He just had another baby, like I guess like maybe like 5 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, but his wife died in childbirth. And so he is now just raising the kids, but he had videos of her and stuff like that. And I was telling him when I interviewed him that you need to have a podcast because you have so much things to say. You have, and he does do something on YouTube, but I feel like he needs to do something else because as he didn't plan for her to pass away, right? And so it's
Yeah.
like we don't know what's gonna happen. So I feel like this is good. Like you just, I'm out here talking to my sister. You know what I'm saying? Like this is
Yeah.
whatever. And like I said, our grandkids and stuff will be able to look like, oh, they were look how cool they were. Or we can start our own podcast, and they're probably gonna be wearing Self Care Revolution shirts because we wore them. Like it's just gonna be such a different time. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
feel like yes, everybody needs to create content, and yeah, you just never know. It's so many things that you could talk about. Like I said, I find somebody new every day. So if you're a person who has been thinking about it, even if you wasn't thinking about it, you're thinking about it now. People are, yeah, I would do it. I would start that channel.
I
So.
love that you said that. That gives me something really to chew on because I've been thinking more about like, I'm not going to focus on this as my main thing. I'm focusing on my long form, but I've been thinking about what I can offer, like how I can get into more short form content because I feel like it's more accessible. But I still want to focus mainly on my long form content. I think I'll probably just like figure out how to clip it down with
What you
AI.
like? I was about to say you can make that's easy. We
Yeah.
already, Dave said that. Like make that one piece of content, 5 pieces of content. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Make it into
I think
shorts.
that's probably what I'm gonna do. I will say this though, because I watched this video the other day that was so good. I sent it to you and James. And it was the founder of Stand Store talking. Oh man, he was just talking so real. I love it when founders or like when startup companies like CEOs do that and they just be talking real, like you just out for drinks with somebody and they're just giving you the rundown. I love that. And that's how I felt with him. He was just talking real. But it was this idea that like, you have already what it takes and like you already know what you're supposed to be focused on. You already know what your lane is. It's just about you doing it. And yeah, there's a lot to, but another thing that he said that I thought was interesting is a mofo because it's real. He idolizes Gary Vee, which I do too. Like I love Gary Vee. And he was saying like people think they're gonna run out of content, but Gary Vee's been saying the same thing for 20 years. I was like, man, when I heard that, I was like, yeah, and I still want to hear Gary Vee say it. You know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
I'm
It's like,
gonna piggyback on this because I went to the podcast summit this year virtually, right? And I can't remember who pointed it out, but basically, oh, it was CJ. It was CJ from Eric Thomas, ET the hip hop preacher, his right hand man, and Dave's mentor or whatever, CJ Quinney. Now he did something that was very powerful. He showed how Eric Thomas starts his shit, his little Monday morning thing. You know, what's up, what's up, what's up, and whatever he says it over and over and over. And then he started playing like he did the Martin thing. Never changed, right? Like everything is the same. You pick something, you just be consistent with it and use it over and over. Like stop trying to change your shit over and over because people
yeah.
will come to realize what it is. You know what I'm saying? And then the last thing that he mentioned was it was the Martin thing. Oh shoot, I just had a number to my son. He said the Martin thing. Oh, it's somebody else that's just like anyway, I'll remember it if it's meant to be. But basically he was saying like stop trying to change your stuff up. Pick something and do the guy oh, what's his name? Man, he's a rapper. He turned the guy into a rapper. I think his name is he has a wife. His wife's name is Fat. He's a rapper, but he wasn't a rapper. CJ turned him into a rapper, and basically he was like you know how somebody does Market Mondays. EYL does Market Mondays, right? It's like do the same thing over and over and over. Dang, I can't remember that dude's name. Oh, Toby. Toby Ienge or something. I can't remember his name. Anyway, but the whole point was don't stress over like trying to
Toby
be
Nguyen, yeah, he
yes.
okay, yeah.
So basically he was
CJ the
saying how
drill rapper, whoopty.
he just said he
Whoopty.
took some simple stuff and he was like just repeat this and be consistent. Repeat this and be consistent. It doesn't have to be something you don't have to change your intro every week. Oh, that's what he pointed out. Everybody who watched Power know that Power song was the shit. Every time you heard it coming on, you got excited for the for the show. But that one season that they freaking tried to change it, it was
Yeah,
like
they changed it from
bring
Joe.
it
They
back.
changed it from Joe to the one who's August Alsina sounds like.
And
What's his
it's
name?
not that it wasn't good. It's just that this is what we
Trey
used to.
Songz.
And when he said that, I said, you know what? I be spending all this time trying to figure out, oh, I need a new intro. I need this, I need that. And I was like, no, we're just going to do some basic stuff and just leave it like that because people, and I noticed the people that I watch, I get used to their regular old ass intro. You know what I'm saying?
And
like
that's what I love. I think about some of the people that I go back and watch the most. Like I'm just being real here. So last year when I got my little readout from YouTube, like this is what you watch the most, it actually happened to be Joyce Meyer. And it's funny to me how she tells the same stories over and over, but I love them. And it's like I can't like shake her. And it's like I want to watch her all the time, and I'll even come up on something that I've seen like 30 times before, and I want to watch it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times did we watch Moonwalker? How many times have I watched the Soldier by Destiny's Child? How many times have I watched Self-Destruction by all those artists? It's like
Howard Cosby Show when In Living Color used to come on, like
nostalgic. People keep going back to the same stuff, and I don't think that's what our brains like. We like nostalgia. We like familiarity. We like something that we can like sink our teeth into, and because we're always growing, right, that information and that experience is hitting a different person every time they engage with it. So it's not just that you're saying the same thing over and who's going to want to watch this. They want to watch it because they want the reminder. So I don't even know how this didn't make it. YouTube, y'all are tripping, because as much as I watch Joyce Myers, I be watching Think Media. And it's like, I can't get enough. And they even sit there and talk bad about me, like, pick up and punch me in the face and press record. I watch them like, because I love infomercials. And to me, they're like YouTube's infomercial. Like, always got something that I can watch and be engaged in and learn from. And, they're constantly coming up with new content, but they're pretty much saying the same things in terms of this is how you
if you really think about it, Faith, it's like, Yeah, I realized that about the people we watch too. Like David and Donnie been saying the same things essentially over and over, but different ways. But the reason why is because who's gonna sit there and watch every single thing you do? Now, I'm not saying that nobody would, right? Because I feel like
Mhm.
I watch a lot of people's everything, right? Every video they come out with, I've seen it, right? But that's because I like them, and if they're repeating themselves, I'm not mad. But
Right.
this percentage of the people who are gonna catch everything that you do is crazy. So it's crazy because sometimes I catch myself being like, "Oh, I already posted this," or "I said this before," and it's like, "Girl, get off yourself! Ain't nobody hear that shit. Post that shit
And
again."
they don't remember it. They've had all this life happen between the last, even if you said it 2 weeks ago. So many things have
Absolutely.
happened to them in 2 weeks. They don't even know what they
We
scrolled
make it
today.
so complicated, yo. That was
We
just revealed
do.
to me recently. I was just like, "Oh my goodness, oh my goodness."
I'm
So,
laughing to myself, and then we judge ourselves. And the best thing about it was a bunch of good stuff in that podcast. That it was from Caleb. I forget his name. Caleb Johnson. I don't know. This guy who is a black man with a beard who reminds you of the guy that you sat next to in geometry in the 10th grade that you never paid attention to. And now he's got this great podcast. I want to say his name is Callum Johnson or something, but
yeah,
he
I follow him too. The Callum Johnson show. And
yeah, he's a
Jay
cool
Hoopy.
dude. He's a cool dude, but he's not screaming like he's not some athlete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's giving great value, and I love his podcast. And so I was watching it the other day. I don't even know, is that his name or am I thinking about
No,
somebody
you're
else?
right. Just looked at it.
Um, but anyway, he was
It was
saying
Jay
like,
Hoopy in the Callum Johnson show.
yeah, Callum Johnson show, and he was interviewing the person who founded the founder of Sand Store,
Mm-hmm.
and I just loved it. And in that um episode, he also the interviewee, and I can't remember his name right now. I'm gonna try to find it while I'm looking right now, but he was saying how he's a product of a single mom out of South Carolina, and he wanted to fit in, and there was all these things that he wanted to do, and it's so funny how we give sorry, I had playing something, but like we give so much power to what we think other people will think about us, and oh man, he went in. You got to watch that because he was talking about how like those people don't pay your bills, and
Is it the
also
one?
they
Is
don't
it this
believe
one?
in you. That's him. Yep.
Okay.
The Callum Johnson show.
I'm gonna
And
watch it.
okay, and the guy's
I
name
watched the
who
other
built
night.
Stand Store, his name is Jay Hoovy. And I think
Mm-hmm.
his real name is Jay Who. He's an Asian young man. He's from South Carolina, and he talked about how his mom raised him. It's a really good show. It was posted 3 days ago. It's got 53,000 views. Another thing I think is interesting is like the stuff that really is like life changing and has so much substance. Don't be getting that many views. It's really weird to me. But then
I
you
mean, I
get
guess
these.
it depends on when you see it though. But think about all the stuff that's on the internet. It depends on what you're looking
That's
at.
true.
You know what I'm saying? Because I
That's so
notice
true.
now that I be looking at different stuff than I used to look at. Like I still look at some of the things that I look at, but my pattern is different now. So that's how the algorithm works too. It's like whatever you're watching the most of, you're gonna get more of similar content. So it changes over whatever you change over on. You know what I'm saying? But that's I think that I was thinking that about some of the I don't know if you ever watched Evan Carmichael. He be having like montages
Yeah.
of. I was thinking about that some of his videos. Like, how nobody seen this? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I got his book over here, Built to Serve. I love Evan Carmichael. Another example of how you can take an idea and just keep doubling down on it. He didn't even really build that much like organic content. He was just putting together, he had the idea to put together
Mhm.
these valuable packages of content and put it out there, and it works. So anyway, look, as we land the plane in the spirit of Think Media, do you have any final thoughts on this episode? We still didn't get to a bunch of our topics, but that's great because then we have a head start on next week's topic list. Do you have any final thoughts to share? Just kind of thinking
I
about what we
just
talked
say
about today.
do the thing because you need to hurry up and build a body of work. You need to get
Ooh,
the jitters out, get the bad episodes out, and will all your episodes be perfect or all of the videos be perfect? No, but as you go along, it's gonna get better. So I would just say, do the thing because as I look at like I do this just really quick, I do this midweek check-in in somebody's group that one of my friends that I am friends with. She has a group with Black women in it, and I do a midweek check-in every week. I've been doing that since 2 months before Drayton was born. I only missed like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but I always post in there on a Wednesday or a Thursday. And I'm like, I used to worry about, oh, somebody's gonna steal my idea or whatever. And I'm like, I've been consistent. You got to catch up. I've been doing this. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that I've been doing. But in doing that, it's like the same thing I do with my podcast or the same thing I do with my videos. Like, so I just want to stress to people, do not wait. Just start. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Oh, so good. Look, I can't do no better than that, y'all. You know what? She's real. Like, what are you waiting for? So, like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, and we will see y'all next week for another episode of Somebody's Cousin. Maybe.
Yes.
All right. Peace, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Peace.